Hello and welcome to Authentic Traveling Podcast. I am your host, Abiosonia Ebenezer Marion. I am an investor in positive transformation through counseling, life coaching, speaking, and also writing books. Have you read my book yet? Inner Harmony, Resilience Beyond Chronic Stress and Burnout. This book is available on Amazon and also on my website, www.asebconsultancy.com. On this podcast, we talk about our mental health, emotional well-being, and also our holistic well-being in order for us to thrive authentically. This is a safe space for you to speak about soulful truth and talk about the things that will help you to come back to yourself and regain your self-awareness. Welcome to the Authentic Podcast once again. Hello. On this episode, we are going to be speaking to a very, very interesting guest. It's a guest that I have been following the work that she does and I've admired from far. I've admired her work, and one thing that I've noticed about her is that she's very, very consistent. She's someone that has been on this course for a while now, I think for about 11 years or more. I don't know if you can correct me about that.
13 years.
13, oh my goodness, 13 years. You can see it's someone that has been consistent. So I thought it would be befitting for her to speak to us today about her journey, and then we'll learn a lot of things from it. So, Ma, thank you so much for honoring my invitation. I'm just going to allow you to introduce yourself.
All right. So, hello, my name is Ehino Otaigbe Amedu. I'm the chief exec and founder of Wonderfully Made Woman. It's a charity that provides holistic support for women and girls who have experienced significant adversity. And what we do is basically to help them build their confidence and support network so they can thrive. We're based in Manchester, Rochdale, and Bolton, but we support women across Greater Manchester and beyond. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ma. Your introduction is very modest. I know that you are also a lawyer,
Oh, yeah, by
and
profession, yes.
that's right. And I know that you have been nominated for the is it Pride of Britain Award?
Yeah,
I
I got special recognition for Pride of Britain,
That's
uh,
right. And I
20,
know 20 when? What was that?
2023.
2023. And I also know that you've been awarded a member of the Order of the British Empire for services to women in Greater Manchester. That's MBE for those people that don't know. When I told you our introduction was modest, so just hold on, bear with me. I know that she's the woman that has also founded the first Black food bank, African food bank, to support the BAME community. So if you are in diaspora, you will know how beneficial that is.
Yeah,
Because when we go to the food bank, then you will see loads of Western food. There are some people, they just want to eat their African food. So this is one woman that has thought it wise to create a food bank that will cater for that need. And also, she has also recently been awarded or announced to be part of the Church E Fellowship member because she's also a community researcher. You see, she's loaded. So when I said she was modest, so those are the ones that I found out. And also, she's also a UN Women UK delegate as well. You
yeah,
can see that there's a lot of things that she supports that are so in alignment with what I believe and with what I do. So that is just a nutshell of what she does. So thank you so much again for joining us. Today I'm just going to ask you, this has been a very long journey, 13. So if this was a human being, the person will be officially be a teenager.
yeah. I'm being high school.
I mean, in high school, year 9 or year 8, okay?
Yeah.
So nearly done. That's halfway through high school. So, ma, I'm just gonna ask you, what led you into this? How did you get into this journey that will involve a lot of sacrifice along the way?
So first of all, before I moved to the UK, I've always had passion for community. I've always loved to help people. And growing up in to see women being abused, I just realized that, wow, I needed to do something. Initially, I wanted to be a counselor, but obviously, the family I come from, those days, you have to be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer. Then I thought, okay, I could read law. I could read law to help other women. I've always loved mediation.
mm,
I've always loved that counseling part of, of career.
mm,
So I actually read law in my head that I was going to support women.
mm,
Unfortunately, just after I was called to the Nigerian bar as barrister and solicitor of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We had to relocate.
mm,
So even though I was doing charitable work in my little way, I didn't establish anything in Nigeria.
mm,
Then we moved to the UK. So coming to the UK, I never imagined having a charity here. I knew that at some point in my life, I would do that in Nigeria. But in the UK, no way.
mm.
It's just you go to work, you do your normal 9 to 5 job, and you're okay. So it wasn't really part of my journey, really. So when we came to the UK, and unfortunately, I had a relationship breakdown, and all of a sudden, I realized, okay, I'm now a single mom with 2 young children. What's going to happen? So there was really a lot of stigma in our community.
Yes.
Being a single mom, the stigma that comes with it,
Yes.
in your community, in the church, being talked about as someone who couldn't build a home,
Mm,
you not being a Proverbs 31 woman, or you didn't pray enough. It was always about the woman.
yes.
And then the gossip that follows,
Mm,
once your marriage breaks down, you see even your so-called friends, they're running away from you because they feel you're going to sleep with their husband. So there
mm.
was so much stigma, which made me very isolated. And I just started doing things on my own. I lost my confidence. I was actually suicidal, not really because of the marriage breakdown. I think the stigma I faced from the church, it
Mm.
was terrible. My children, they're also facing the same thing. And that really made me very sad. So all I did was just go to church and come back home. I wasn't
Mm.
really part of you know, any, what do you call it, being a worker in church,
Yes.
the way I was doing before, because it was just gossip here and there. So I just said, okay, let me go to church and I'll come back. I think it was really, I came in as a dependent
Mm,
under highly skilled migrant program. So when you're coming with that visa, you're coming more like as a professional, right?
yes.
You're not entitled to benefits. You have no recourse to public funds. Even when I had my daughter here in the UK, we're still not entitled to public fund because
Mm,
of the visa we came in. So when I went through relationship breakdown, there was really no help for me.
mm,
Why? Because once you call the council or you call for help, the first thing they will ask is, what's your child benefit number?
mm,
We didn't have that. And immediately you say that, it was almost like a barrier.
mm,
So at some point, I stopped looking for help until one day I realized, you know what? Even if though the marriage had broken, I saw myself being depressed. I saw, those days in Nigeria, we didn't know anything about depression or mental
absolutely.
health. So I just knew I was sad.
Mm,
And I was really, really sad. And luckily, one of I think it was my manager at work. I used to work at Department for Works and Pension,
mm,
who had said, oh, you actually went through abuse, even though it wasn't physical. And I kept saying, no, 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 it's not abuse, because in Nigeria, when you hear abuse, it's the physical part. So he had given me a link to look at. And it was a link that would say, if you can answer yes to any of these questions, then you need to seek help. So I actually went home that day and I looked at the questions the Women's Aid have asked. If you have,
yes.
I could say that, oh, okay, I've gone through this. And I actually called them and I said, you know what, I need help. And for the first time, they didn't ask about child benefit number. So I
Mm,
was happy. And I had few sessions of counseling with Women's Aid, and I started to feel better.
mm,
Secondly, there was also a barrier because once the relationship breaks down, the home office expects the dependent and the children to go back home,
Mm.
regardless whether it was your fault or not your fault. So
Yes.
I had to also battle that. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's because I worked in a government office or they just managed to have my land phone in the office, my direct line. So most time I'm at work and my manager is like, "Oh, the home office just called." Then I call
Wow.
them back and they're like, you need to go back. So the fear of going to work, not knowing whether I will be picked or my children will be picked, was also there for me. How did I navigate that? It was just God that
Wow.
gave me the grace. And also, I think my profession.
Mm.
I haven't gone to solicitors and they were like, oh, because you came as highly skilled, you can't seek asylum, you can't even go through domestic abuse because to even apply under DV, you need to have been married to somebody who was already settled in the UK. That wasn't our case. So there was really nowhere to apply.
Mm.
So I was just going around the circle and I'll tell you, I told the solicitor, I'm going to find a way. And I did my own research. I love research.
Mhm.
And I did my own research and I realized, okay, there is a way out. So luckily, I was able to get discretionary leave to remain for
Right.
me and my children, even though later on their dad, you know, did their stay. So it was just me after some years. So I got my discretionary leave to remain. Yes, it wasn't something I wanted
Yes.
because as at the time I was doing that, I was actually due for indefinite leave to remain.
Oh, wow.
Discretionary leave to remain means that I had to go 10 years backwards
Oh, wow.
before I could get indefinite. As at that time, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just like, okay, I can stay with my children.
Mm.
Now, I could have gone back,
Yes.
but it was just the shame and the stigma of going back to Nigeria. I was already facing that here, and I felt it would be more if I
Mm.
go back.
True.
So I chose to stay because I could hide here.
Yeah.
Nobody would know what's happening to me in the UK apart from family and few friends. So I explained all that to the Home Office to say, if I go back, I'm not going to suffer financially. I
Mm.
won't, but I don't want to go because I don't think I can face the shame and
Mm.
the stigma of being a single mom. I was very honest. And I think in less than 3 or 4 weeks, I got my leave to remain.
Wow.
So when I got that, and as a Christian, you know what you normally do? You go to church and you give testimony,
Yes.
right? So on this faithful Sunday, I went to church and I just felt, oh, let me give testimony and at least thank God.
Yes.
That's because almost everybody knew that, oh, they were going to send me back and all that. So when I gave that testimony that day, because already people knew my story and all that. So it was a thing of joy for people. So after church service, a lot of women came to me, first to
Mm.
congratulate me and also to tell me, I need your number because I'm going through the same thing.
Wow.
So these were people I admired in church. You think that their marriage was almost near perfect,
Mm.
So they asked for my number. Some contacted me on Facebook. I think I just opened Facebook to connect with my high school friends and uni friends. So they started sending messages. Then I realized that in my environment, there were so many women that were going through the same thing,
Wow.
especially women who had come with the same spouse visa
Mm.
under highly skilled migrant program. So these women were coming to say, how did you do it? How did you move from being depressed, that sad woman, to
Yeah.
now glowing?
Mm.
Don't just tell me it's Jesus. What did you do? What steps did you take? So really, yes, God was there, but there were steps that I took.
Mm.
So I started telling them the steps I took, what I read, how to build my confidence back, finding a new network, new friendship, new
Mm.
community for myself.
Yeah.
Even though they were not necessarily Nigerians, they were people who accepted me, who
Mm.
accepted my children. So when these women kept coming and coming, I was just like, what's going on?
Mm.
Though I've had vision years ago, I was still young when I had vision that I was going to have an organization to support women that were depressed, that were crying and suffering. And I
Wow.
remember telling my mom, yeah, in 1992, I
Hmm.
remember telling my mom and my sisters, and we all laughed. We laughed because I used to be a very quiet person. So having that kind of dream, I wasn't even in Nigeria, but I was telling them I was doing this. My mom was like, "Oh, really? You were doing that?" And we all started laughing. So when these women started coming, I started asking myself, what do I do to help them?
Hmm.
How can I support them? And that was where, you know, I got this vision. And the reason I got the vision, I would say, when you're still, when you're still and you're in the presence of God, God has a way of speaking to you. So initially, uh, my ex had um, opportunity to pick the children up every weekend.
Right.
And I used to just cry because, my daughter especially was still very young. I
Hmm.
don't think she was even up to 3 then.
Wow.
So I would cry every night. And one day I said to myself, hey, you can do better with your
Hmm.
weekend. What can you really do to, instead of just crying? And I was like, okay, maybe I can be talking to these women. Maybe I can be calling them. And I got this vision and I spoke to a few women and I said, we need to set up something. First of all, was to support Nigerian women initially,
Hmm.
who were going through abuse, who had no confidence to speak because they knew that there was really no support for them.
Yes.
So we became more like that voice for Nigerian women.
Hmm.
Secondly, was to raise awareness on the effect of domestic abuse
Yes.
on women and their children.
Hmm.
And the reason I'm passionate about that is because a lot of women will tell you they stay because of their children.
Hmm.
What they don't understand is the trauma that comes with staying, the
Yes.
trauma the children have to live with for a very long time, or maybe for the rest of their lives.
Hmm.
So we started raising awareness, and I was just a single mom. There was no funding. I didn't even think about funding. I was just, let me just help. And I remember clearing my sitting room and creating an office in
Wow.
Clayton as at that time in 2011
Hmm.
in July. Then by September, 3 months after, I saved for 3 months to build a website. Then
Wow.
the website was opened in September 17th, and then December 17th, 2011, we did the official inauguration of
Hmm.
Wonderfully Made Woman, bringing in women every Wednesday, creating that safe space for women to share in that non-judgmental space. So
Yes.
every Wednesday, initially, I would take unpaid leave
Hmm.
from work. So where women will drop their children in school in the morning, then they will come to my home,
Yes.
have coffee, biscuits, we talk, we chat. And because of my experience with working with DWP, my law background, I was able to find ways of, communicating with either the council or the home office. And now I was no longer afraid of home office anyway. So I would call on their behalf,
Yes.
explain to them and all that. So that was how we started in my living room in Clayton. And after a year, other women from other African countries started saying they wanted to be part of it.
Wow.
So by December 2012, when we had our confidence extravaganza, we had women from different African countries
Wow.
who were now part of the project. And by 2015, it wasn't just African women, we had Asian women, we had English women who wanted to be part of it. So we moved from just supporting Nigerian women
Yeah.
to African women, then to BAME women, then to opening it for women and girls now as it is
Wow.
in 2015. Because people saw the need. We also realized that domestic abuse was everywhere,
Yes.
not just African communities, and there were people who were seeking help. We also realized that when women, even when they have recourse to public funds, go through abuse, the council could provide maybe a shelter,
Mm.
the food,
Yes.
make sure your children are okay. Then what? What happens to the woman who have gone through that
Yeah.
abuse? Where
Hmm.
does that support come from to say, you know what, you can get back on your feet? That's where Wonderfully Made Woman comes in. So when women have gone through all this, they get all the support that they get. We are here to say, you know what? What was it that you wanted to become in life?
Mm.
What stopped it? And how can you go back to being a better you?
Yes.
So building the woman's confidence to a point when she can stand on her feet to say, you know what, I've always wanted to go back to school,
Mm.
or I wanted to start my business, or I wanted to work in a particular place. So we support that woman through that journey
Yes.
to when she stands on her feet to now becoming a volunteer as well.
Wow.
So that's where we start from. Where the government stops is where we actually take it up. Because
Yes.
women can get accommodation, shelter, food, money, benefits, but it doesn't take away the trauma.
Mm.
It doesn't take it away. It doesn't automatically build their confidence because they've moved from one house to another.
Yes.
So it's a process, and that process is what we are part of.
Mm.
To say, you know what, we will hold your hand. We will go through this process with you until you are okay.
Yes.
And obviously, there's a track record of a lot of women who have been in that process, who have started their own organization. I
Mm.
think as at 2025 now, we have about 16 organizations who were born out of Wonderfully Made Woman, doing their own
Wow.
thing, doing amazing things in England, in Scotland, in Nigeria. We have women who have gone back to school. We have women who never even knew they could speak English, not to talk of writing an exam to drive, who are driving,
Hmm.
who have become volunteers, who have become befrienders, you know. So what we do mainly is an awareness. We
Hmm.
raise awareness on issues that affect women and girls, from Facebook live show to having a radio show on All FM 96.9, reaching over 21,000 every Friday.
Hmm.
We are also training these women. We've been able to train 18 women so far. Up to today, we are training the young girls. Right now, the young adults, I think they are in their third week of the training. We started working with young girls because in 2016, the big lottery realized that a lot of women who go through abuse, their daughters are mostly affected because it's the daughter who holds the mom when they're beating her. It's the
Yes.
daughter who goes to the shop. The daughter becomes automatically the wife in the house. You know,
Yes.
go and cook, go and tell your mom this. So there was a project in 2016 where we became um, part of the project. The
Yes.
Maya project was a project of 10 organizations
Hmm.
and who were to lead for African women and their
Yes.
daughters.
Yes.
So that was how we started working with young girls,
Wow.
you know, because there's so much need for it. Young girls are, you know, they see a lot
Hmm.
when abuse is going on.
Yes.
That's not to say the boys don't, the boys
Yes.
do as well. And there are services for African boys, luckily, now in 2025. So we provide that holistic support,
Yes.
whether be well-being, the dance therapy, which is popular, dance, the strength of a wonderfully made woman,
Yes.
women using dance to have fun,
Hmm.
reduce isolation, reduce stress, to have, you know, to do their normal exercise, and just using that dance to take away the pain that is there. You know,
Yes.
when you hear music, music is therapeutic. So we've been using dance because when I was going through I realized a lot of services then were mostly arts and crafts.
Yes.
I realized African women, we don't really do arts and crafts. African women will want to talk. African women will want to go to party. If you see a
Yes.
woman who is sad, the next thing you say, dress up, let me go, come and follow me to this party. That's
Yes.
who we are. So what I did was not to compete, rather look for gaps and
Hmm.
say, okay, what is already happening in Manchester?
Yes.
And what is it that is not there?
That's
So
right.
Wonderfully Made Woman is unique in its own way. In
Hmm.
every project that we make is to fill a gap. So the dance therapy came in because African women, the Asian women, were not
Yes.
so much into arts and crafts.
Hmm.
They wanted something that they will be able to express themselves,
Yes.
something that will remind them of their home. So that was how the dance therapy came in 2015.
Wow.
Then the African Food Bank. I remember one of those days, I think it was Citizens Advice Bureau, who had
Yes.
contacted me, obviously, because I have children, they'll keep calling. And they said, oh, we're bringing food for you. I was so happy, like, oh my God, they're bringing
Mm.
food. Then they brought this parcel. I was really grateful, but I opened it. There was really nothing that was cultural there, you
Yes.
know. Yes, there was baked beans and all that. I'm like, okay, is this what they give to everybody? So when I started the organization, I didn't want to do the same thing.
Mm.
But there are thousands of food banks across Greater Manchester. I
Yes.
wanted to do something different. So initially, I would tell my friends,
Mm.
and every month they would buy plantain, rice, things that we'll normally use for stew and all
Yes.
that. And they will all donate. Some will bring it home, some will bring it to the office, and we
Yes.
will distribute. I think that was 2013. 2013, we actually started.
Mm.
But we didn't name it as African Food Bank.
Mm.
We were just giving African food. It
Yes.
was when COVID came, and I was part of the Adric alongside response team. It was
Yeah.
over almost 50 organizations.
Mm.
Every day in the news, we would hear the number of parcels that were going out across Greater Manchester. BBC was carrying it, and it was almost like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
everybody's eating.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we were calling our African women, and we realized that these people are not getting it. So one day, I think out of curiosity, I just asked in the meeting, these thousands of parcels that go out, how many African people are accessing it in Greater Manchester?
Mm. Great question.
Many of them could not respond. And I remember a counselor calling me later and said that, to be honest, we don't really have African people accessing. And I said, did you find out why? So the next meeting, I asked them, do you know why they don't access it?
Mm.
Because they don't eat those food.
Yes.
You can't give me cabbage and say you've given me food. You can't give me banana and lettuce and say you've given me food.
Mm.
That's not our food. So there is a crisis at hand. There is lockdown. Children can't move. How can we protect their mental well-being?
Mm.
You can't tell somebody who is hungry to build confidence.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's why even when we are building confidence of women, we first of all find out what is their immediate need.
That's right.
Otherwise, you're going to be raising awareness and wasting your time.
Yes.
It's like you go to church, you know that when you get home, you can't eat, and you're preaching. What do you think that woman is thinking of? It's what's in the kitchen.
That's right.
So I was right there, and I think with the help of my husband, who has organization as well, we're like, no, Africans are not eating this thing. So he
Mm.
was so upset that he started using his own money initially to buy African food. We will go to Costco to buy rice. We'll go to African shops. We'll buy, and people were now distributing. I think that kind of, and we're on live on Facebook. So a lot of Africans were now getting worried that, okay, people are going through this. Say, what's happening? People were donating £50,
Wow.
£100, 200, just like that. And that was how the thing started. And after some, I think I did the Facebook Live after a counselor, we had told the counselor this was happening,
Yeah.
and they sent somebody to me, and she said, oh, what you're asking for is too much. African food, we heard, is expensive. Why can't your community just eat beans and rice? So for me, that was a slap. I'm
Yes.
like, okay, just eat beans and rice. Have you eaten beans and rice before? Do
Mm.
you just put beans and rice in the pot? Who can eat? She said no, because another African told her. I said, that's an insult.
It is.
So I went on Facebook that day. I was really, really upset. I said, no, our community, they are suffering. We cannot stay silent. And a lot of counselors reached out and were like, oh, we support this cause. We want to support this cause. And that was how it happened. We had a meeting and they said, what do you want? So it was like giving an open check. I
Mm.
can remember my husband saying, we want a food bank that will be culturally appropriate. And I said, I want to set up African Food Bank. help people this lockdown. And they said, oh, fine, you can access this funding. I said, no, I want the funding accessible to all African-led organizations across Greater Manchester,
Wow.
because I cannot do it alone. And I think the first funding we got then with Anne, it was actually our office. My husband and I, we had to clear the entire computers and everything, and they brought in African food, and African charities were coming to pick up for their
Wow.
community. So we started that, and that was what, by 2021, I actually got the Prime Minister's Award
Hmm.
from
Boris Johnson.
Boris Johnson,
Yes.
you know, because it was a drastic change. Like, no, we're going to fight this. We're not going to let our people stay. So with the African Food Bank I set up, what was there? Initially, most of the volunteers were Nigerians.
Hmm.
And now, not all African, Africa is big.
It is.
We had to recruit other African volunteers.
Yes.
Nigerian, Ghanaian, Zimbabwe, Mali, Congo, Zambia, Gambia, there were many.
Hmm.
And we trained them. After training them, they had to tell us what their own community is.
Yes.
So our African Food Bank is not just go and eat beans and no, it is holistic.
Hmm.
So regardless of where you come from in Africa, you will find your food.
Yes.
So we went there, and I think Mark from the voluntary sector in Manchester had to call to say, do you need freezer? So they gave us
Ooh.
money for freezer, for fridge. So we had everything from okra to iru to pepper to stockfish to dry fish.
Come
We were,
on now.
yeah,
Wow.
we were all out catering for the elderly people. Definitely what I eat is not what an elderly woman who is almost 80 will eat.
Yes.
So we had volunteers who were reaching out to people specifically. If you're an elderly woman, you give us a list of what you eat. We were not just giving people what was available. We were
Hmm.
giving communities what they will eventually eat.
Yes.
Otherwise, what's the point of, just creating data of we fed 20,000 people? That food might be in the bin.
That's right.
So we were very specific. So if you're from Mali, we knew what you wanted. We had French translators that would say, oh, this person is not Nigerian. This is what you want. And the volunteers were constant. In COVID, it was almost like a 24 hours service,
Wow.
working tirelessly. All I prayed for was God should keep my children,
Hmm.
because they were all there, you know, every day in the shop, catering for people. You will see people queuing up from the office up to the gates in Carioca,
Wow.
catering for people. We had volunteers who were traveling to different parts of Greater Manchester, delivering food for people who could not come out
Ah, Ma, do you know
throughout
what I'm going to
COVID.
give you? Do you know what I'm going to? I'm going to give you my own award. My own award is that. No, no, no. I'm going to give you my own award. It's the Aaron's award I'm going to give to you.
Oh, okay.
You know when Moses' hand was heavy and he could
Mm,
no longer hold his hand up and his hand was going down and they were losing and Aaron just had to hold his hand. That's what
mm-hmm.
you have been doing. I've got goose
Yeah,
pimples from my head to my toe right
yeah,
now
yeah.
because people would do understand the extent of what you've done.
Yeah, it wasn't just a food bank. It wasn't just calling people. We also created the Pidgin English translation service immediately. And
Wow.
the reason was that we were calling our women, and one of the trustee had called me to say there is a problem. I said, what is it? She said they had called about two women, and they said, oh, we're hungry, there's no food. And they were like, oh, you don't have money? I said, no, we have, but the government said we should not go out.
Oh,
So there was already a language barrier that people
yes.
didn't. So we had to explain to them, the government did not say you cannot go to the shop.
Yes.
So what we did was, after the meeting, we decided, you know what, we can start to translate the government guideline. And that was how we recruited volunteers again. We knew women in Manchester who were good with Pidgin English, and we had to bring them in to say, you know what, come and translate. For every government guideline, you need to have a we were translating for them. We were
Wow.
translating for NHS, we were translating for the government, we were translating for the organizations. We were making sure that African people understood exactly what is expected of them.
Wow.
So that was how our Pidgin English translation service became very solid. We were
Wow.
doing it before, but it was in COVID. We realized that there was a need. So we actually set up the first UK Pidgin English translation service in COVID,
Wow.
translating for the NHS, translating for organizations, for GPs. Till now, we still translate. If you see the
Ha.
cancer awareness, we have a Pidgin English translation booklet for cancer screening from the NHS that is being distributed across Greater Manchester. So
Amazing.
wonderfully, Meduma, we sit down, we look at, okay, the beautiful things that organizations are doing, because everyone is doing wonderful things. Then we
Yes.
sit down and say, okay, what is it that is not available?
Hmm.
What can we do differently? There's no point we're doing the same thing. So,
Yes.
for example, with the ESOL class, we would naturally not do ESOL class.
Hmm.
Why? Because there's so many ESOL classes out there. We would refer women to those services
Yes.
because we believe in, working together.
Hmm.
What we created was an English and maths service that we cater for women who have never been to school before.
Wow.
So what it meant that we had volunteers that they knew, that they trust, that they can easily open up to,
Hmm.
who provide that service for them. Same with basic IT, you know, a lot of women are ashamed to go to the library.
Yes.
So we say, okay, come to us. There are computers everywhere. Open it and we teach you one-to-one support until you are able to at least send email. Before, women didn't have email address, but a lot of them use email now.
Hmm.
As simple as having email address. There are a lot of women who went through abuse and never had opportunity to work, never had opportunity to do anything. So when they come out, they're just coming out like children that you have to teach, that step-by-step guide,
Yes.
So that's what we're doing. There are another projects that has become very popular aside from the dance and the awareness. Pidgin English is the befriending service for single mothers.
Wow.
So our service is for women and girls. We have projects for women and their family. Like this holiday, we have mother and children bonding session,
Mm-hmm.
which we do every summer, where the women come, sit on the floor, play with their children, do games with their children, and all that. We also recognize the fact that even though we support all women, the single mothers, they're kind of far away
Yes.
because what they've gone through is different from what a married woman is going through. And we
Absolutely.
can never shy away from that.
Hmm.
And after the research, we realized that there was no organization providing specific service for single mom.
Yes.
So it was in 2021 we decided to apply, and I remember then Big Lottery was like, "Oh no, there should be. What would you want to do for single mom?" And I said, "Okay, fine, do your research." And I think later they came back to me and said, "You know what? Even in the UK, there's actually no service for single mothers." You
Wow.
know, and it was a passion I had. I remember in 2021 when I was privileged to meet Her Majesty the Queen. One of the things she asked me was, what is that one thing that you would like to do, apart from the many things that you're doing?
Hmm.
And I said to her, Your Majesty, I would like to have the first befriended service for single mom. She looked at me and she looked at the Lord Lieutenant and said, Oh, she's never heard of that before. And
Hmm.
she said, Single mom? I said, Yes. She said, Go for it.
Hmm.
And that was the beginning of the journey of trying to do research. What do we need to do? Who do we need to train? And unfortunately, the day we were to, launch the single mother project was her funeral in
Oh.
2022. So we had to postpone. But yes, when you're given a blank check, you just quickly say what you want. The encouragement from her was very useful.
Hmm.
Over the years, people will be like, why single mom? But she was the one that was actually like, wow, that's a wonderful project, single mother.
Yes.
And she has never even thought of that.
Hmm.
So we set up the first UK befriending service for single mom. We also have in Nigeria as well. And what we do is actually just to break that stereotype,
Mm.
what the society says or sees
Yes.
them as, home breakers, prostitutes, second
Mm.
hand, not good enough, not Proverb 31.
Yeah.
We are trying to break that barrier to say, you know what? If a relationship fails, doesn't make that woman a failure.
That's right.
It's the relationship that has failed. For every single mom, there's a single man out there.
Mm.
Nobody is talking about the single man. Nobody is stigmatizing the single father.
No.
It's okay for a man with 5 children from four women to say they want to marry a single girl, and it's
Yeah.
okay.
It's a patriotic system, isn't it, ma'am? You
Exactly.
know.
So when it comes to a woman, why is it a big deal?
Mm.
Oh, single mother, useless woman. She's not in her husband's house. Why the stigma? Single mothers are doing double the job.
That's right.
And that was why we raised a campaign. We started a campaign, Single Mothers Doing Double the Work campaign.
Mm.
And luckily, we had the backup of two former Lord Mayors in Manchester, Councillor Donna and Councillor June, who
Wow.
were Lord Mayors. And these women are single moms.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, people
wow.
didn't know. So when we started the campaign, that was when Donna said, that, I used to be a single mom. And of course, June came, oh, I'm a single mom. And they started the campaign with us. And we started that campaign, Single Mothers Doing Double the Job. So for you to stigmatize a woman, you have to think twice.
That's right.
You're married. I'm married now. There are so many challenging things. Even as a married couple,
Yes.
paying bills and all that. Then imagine one person
Mm.
have to carry that load alone.
That's right.
You know, everybody is working. Now you go home, your husband will ask you how was work.
Mm.
Nobody is asking the woman how was work.
That's true.
He takes care of the children, and maybe at night she cries. So I have been in that journey before. So I can boldly say I understand
Yes.
pain, the stigma, the isolation, the way the society makes them feel. So for Wonderfully Made Woman is building their confidence to say what? Raise your head high.
Mm.
You are playing the role of a father and a mother.
Mm.
That is not an easy job to do.
At all.
And why they're saying single mothers are useless or tokumbos, can you just Google how many single mothers are doing well? How many single mothers have successfully raised their children?
Yes.
That stigma was always there. Oh, single children of single mothers always end up in the street.
Nah,
And
that's
that
not
was
true.
my biggest fear. Oh, they said my son is going to end up on the street. But at the end of the day, he made the first class.
Wow.
Why? It means that it is not necessarily children of single mothers that are on the street. If you go and research those children, do a research, because we do all the time,
Mm.
you will see that those children on the street were already destroyed when daddy and mommy were in the same roof,
Mm-mm.
living in a toxic environment.
Yes.
So by the time the relationship breaks down, those children are already destroyed,
That's right.
already bitter, and they end up on the streets.
Yes.
So it's not just because you're a child of a single mom that makes you end up on the street. No, a lot of single mothers are doing so well with their children. So we are trying to break that stereotype with our
Wow.
befriending service. So we have home visits every week. We have one-to-one telephone support.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, our food bank, not just food. We have toy bank.
Mm.
We give out toys every Christmas. We're one of the big partners with Cash for Kids. And
Yes.
we support families across Greater Manchester, whether you're a man or a woman, children pick up the toys. But we do have a toy bank in our Bolton hub where parents who cannot afford to buy maybe birthday gifts come to the session to say, my child's birthday is so day. We don't have gifts, and they come to pick up the toy
Oh,
or
wow.
gifts, yeah, for their children. And we've been doing it since 2014,
Wow.
So there is a toy bank. We have baby bank. We have women who have children that the men maybe have abandoned, or even they have a husband who have no job. especially with the COS.
Issues. Yes.
They're struggling. So we have baby bank where we actually provide baby milk, Cerelac, Pampers, clothes. And we also partner with Baby Basic in Bolton. So
Mm.
for those who live in Bolton and Bury, we may not necessarily have to buy. We'll just refer them to Baby Basic and they'll give them clothes and everything worth maybe two, £300 that can help the child up to 3 months or 6 months.
Wow.
For those that are not in Bury or Bolton, we try as much as possible to provide what they need. So there are women who come to session and can just say, you know what, I don't have pampers, or I don't have transport to go back, or I don't even know what we are going to eat. So when we come for sessions, we don't know when we'll close.
Wow.
We don't know what we will see. So it's a safe space. We can say we're going to talk about maybe domestic abuse or confidence building on a particular day. And
Mm.
we end up not talking about it. And it's still okay.
Yes.
As long as the women are okay. So weeks ago, we've had people come in and there was a particular person who kept saying, I want to go. And I kept saying, oh, bye, see you next week. Then I noticed she was still there. I'm like, okay, she waiting for a friend? Is she waiting for Uber? Then later she came and said, I cannot really go. I said, why can't you go? You've been saying you want to go. She said, as I'm talking to you, I don't even have transport to go.
Oh.
My baby does not even have pampers to wear.
Ah.
I'm going home now. My children have not eaten draw soup, according to her, for 3 weeks. And that is the food they love to eat.
Mm.
At that stage, we had to stop everything.
Mm.
Because for me, Wonderfully Made Woman is not just a charity, it's a ministry.
Yes.
When people are coming into your sanctuary, they should be going back better.
Mm.
So I'm not the type that will say it is well when it is not well. Or God will bless you. I had to tell the women, can we stop what we're doing?
Mm.
This is a woman, no pampers, no food. How much is it to buy okra and meat and fish? So while she was talking, there was another staff who was immediately listing everything that she needed to buy. So people brought out cash immediately. And
Wow.
I said to her, don't use that cash. Before you know, somebody had volunteered to take her to the shop, buy the
Wow.
pampers. From there, went to African shop, bought the things, and she kept saying, no, oh, he not gave me cash. And they said, no, you hold that because you might need it. You've got children. By the time she came to our session last week, I cried.
Hello there. I just want to ask you a favor to subscribe, like, and share to your friends, your neighbor, your colleagues, your family, your friends, and everybody that you know. I'm really working hard to ensure that I bring useful and valuable information that will help you with your mental and emotional well-being so that you begin to thrive authentically. You know, a lot of us will feel we have to wait until something happens before we become reactive. But with this podcast, I am trying to give you information that will make you proactive so you don't even have anything to react to in the end because you are looking after yourself properly. So what are you waiting for? If you have been listening, please like, share, comment on anything that resonates with you. This will help to drive our visibility. And also, if there is any other topic that we have discussed that has been a trigger or that you feel you need support with, please visit www.asebconsultancy.com. There is a 15 minutes free consultation link that you can click on right there and book to speak to one of our counselors. Thank you so much for helping to drive visibility to this platform. And also, if you have been listening on Apple, Spotify, Audible, and every other um, podcast platform there, please follow us and keep sharing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Back to the program now.
How food can change a woman from being that depressed woman, looking shattered, ugly, to a transformed person just because there is food in the house. When she came, you could see the glow. You could
Wow.
see the way she packed her hair, the way
Mm,
she wore her shorts. We were like, wow. So you're this beautiful, you're this lively. So when we are talking about confidence building, it has to be a woman who is not hungry that you're
mm,
talking to. It has to be a woman who is not thinking of what the children will eat. Otherwise, everything you're saying, she will not take it. So
mm.
she came back last week. She actually won the dance competition. She said, this week, I'm ready. So last week, she wasn't ready because why? There were issues. So
Wow.
we meet women at the point of their need.
Wow.
I don't just say, oh, come for counseling. We want to find out before that counseling, before that mental health support, what exactly is the problem?
Yes.
Is it immigration? Is it food? Is it housing? Yes, we cannot provide all the services, but like I said before, there are organizations in Greater Manchester doing wonderful things that you can refer them to. There's
Mm,
so many times, like you said, Rose, and maybe somebody's coming from Oldham. I'm like, no, you can't be coming all the way. You can actually go to Rose because she's closer to you and she will
yes.
also support you very well. So we
Wow.
do all that rotation. And I'm also Wonderfully Made Woman is also part of the Mama Health and Poverty Partnership.
Mm,
Is a project that is led by 10 African women
mm.
in Greater Manchester, providing that cultural appropriate support for Africa, specifically for African women and girls across Greater Manchester.
Wow.
We started 2017, 2018. Today, we are the biggest partnership providing that tailored support to African women and girls.
That's the power of a strong collaboration.
Exactly. So when a woman comes and she's saying her problem, the ones I cannot do are in my brain, I'm already thinking, oh, maybe Blossom Layo can do this,
Mm.
or Karen and Sherry can do that. That's how we rotate. And before you know, the woman is sorted.
Wow. There are so many nuggets. In short, I can listen to you all day. You said when people are leaving your sanctuary, they should live better. A woman who is hungry cannot be confident.
No, not at all.
You said you caught this vision in 1992,
1992,
right? When I did my calculation, that was 33 years ago, right?
1992.
Now, your charity is, I wouldn't call it charity, your ministry is 33, is 20, 13 years old.
Yeah,
That means you caught this 20 years prior to it.
yeah,
But you did not do anything. Isn't it amazing how you were able to
yeah,
turn your pain? Yeah, it's 20
yeah.
years. You
It
see that?
is.
I
I
just
didn't
did
do
the math.
anything because, to be honest, my normal is not the talking type.
Ma, do
Um,
you not understand? I don't believe in coincidence. Oh.
yeah,
Me,
yeah, yeah.
I do not believe in coincidence.
Definitely,
Because you
definitely.
told
So
me now that you are a quiet person, right?
I'm naturally a quiet person.
Okay. So do you see the way your pain
So
births your
yeah,
purpose?
exactly. So God needed to push me, needed to
That is
shake
it.
me because there's no way I could have. When I did my 50th birthday and my dad did the surprise video for me, one of the things he kept saying was, he not the quiet one in the house
Oh,
has become the one talking. I was so quiet to a point that my sisters can't hear me when I talk. I will
wow.
have to repeat. I will have to repeat myself and repeat myself before they can hear me. I was that quiet. So even when I saw that vision in 1992, I remember it was just, we're having our siesta, and I said, oh, mommy, this is what I had. She was like, you were talking to women, you were this. Then she started laughing. My sister, and I started laughing. And she said, why are you laughing? I was laughing because in reality, which voice? Which voice are you going to use? And that was the main reason I said, oh, I'm going to read law because I felt, oh, that vision, maybe I'll be helping women in court.
Yes.
So when I eventually came to the UK and I didn't plan to actually, do my transfer exam or to be a solicitor, I just knew that there was something about maybe counseling or mediation. So I
Yes.
didn't bother. So the vision, it was when I was going to start. And I remember telling my mom, look at what's happening to women in Manchester, and I keep having this dream. And she was like, can you not remember that this dream you have now, you've had that dream in 1992. So I had to put it together. I was like, okay, so even if I want to start, which voice am I going to use? Who
Hmm.
is going to listen? All those questions kept coming on and coming on and coming on until I said, you know what, God, I just want to be foolishly obedient to you. Whether
Foolishly
my man,
obedient to
yes,
you.
yes.
Ah,
I
yeah, yeah,
said
yeah,
it
yeah,
to him
yeah.
because initially when I got the vision and I realized that, okay, I needed to set something up.
Mm,
Sometimes as a Christian, you feel God needs to fix a particular thing for you
yes.
to do another thing. So in my mind, I used to say, God, this vision now you've given me, I'm going to do it. No problem. But you have to do something. You will need to bring my husband back. I will need to go and testify. You will need to take the pendulum away. So I was giving God that condition. Months after months and after months. And it was 2011 that God, it was a vision that if you don't do this, I can raise a stone.
Hmm.
So at that point, I had to rededicate my life to
Wow.
Christ. That's July. And I said to God, whether you bring my husband back, whether you take the strange woman away, whether I'm divorced or no divorce, I'm going to be foolishly obedient to you. How I'm going to use the voice, how I'm going to even do this thing, I don't know.
Hmm.
But I'm just going to start anyway. So now the vision is bigger than
Ah,
how
it's
I started.
massive. It's humongous, man. Ah,
It's
wow.
bigger. I think days ago I was just talking to my daughter. No, it was I went to London to see my son with my daughter, and we're just talking. And my son was like, Mom, anytime I say you inspire me, I actually mean it. Like
Oh,
how did this thing that happened to you now change your life to a point that you're an MBE? Oh, we're talking about marriage. And I said to him, oh, you know that as an MBE, you can actually use this particular church in London. And he was like, oh, really? Maybe I'll have to take advantage. So we started from there, and he was like, babe, Mom, how does God use, you know, things that look negative
yeah.
to just promote someone? Because that's what happened to me. You know, how a woman would meet the queen, meet the king, you know,
May
prime
the
minister,
get a
prime
letter from
minister's
the prime
award,
minister. Yes.
gets appointed as an MBE, all because of what? Marriage breakdown.
And meet loads of counselors and
Yeah.
lords.
So for me, then becoming this community research, we just finished the Andy Bonham, the mayor of Greater Manchester, Live Well research, which I was part of as well. And so many projects I'm doing. Then the
Wow.
Churchill Fellowship one. And I
Oh, I
think
love
that's the
that
main
one.
one now
Yes.
for me. Actually doing the research on childhood trauma, the effect of domestic abuse on African children.
That was why I
Uh,
said I absolutely love that one because I don't know if you know Fortalis. I think I'll have to off the camera, I'll have to speak to you because the advanced childhood experience is something that is massive
yeah,
because
very.
especially in the African sector, I don't think it's been explored quite a
No,
lot. And especially with these Jacquarian Syrians and Jacqueline people, I always tell people that we don't know the impact of that until years to come
that
because
is it.
that is going to be added to the ACEs. People do not understand. I am so glad that someone like you is being included in that fellowship because sometimes when we look at this, we look at it through the Western eyes. But
Yeah,
it's high time that we begin to look at it in a holistic way so that we'll be
yeah,
able to bring in the cultural nuances into the discussion
definitely,
and then it
definitely.
becomes more robust and we'll begin to
Yeah,
benefit from it.
yeah,
It is so, so important because I work with people that has been through domestic violence as well as part of my counseling stuff. And you made a very valid point a lot. But the one that stood out for me in that particular one was who look after the woman and the children. A lot of people look at it, there's this stigmatization that is going on, but nothing hardly touches the man. I know the men go
Nothing.
through their own. We are not trivializing what they go through, but we're
Yeah,
trying to say there is too much burden on the woman as if she is
yeah.
to blame. And then the children, they go in a very subliminal way that they are going through loads of stuff because I work in schools. So I see these children, a child that is normally very, very quiet, very good, they go either way. Either they become very, very noisy to get,
Mm-hmm.
because that attachment problem is
Yeah,
there to get all this negative attention, or they go really quiet and moody and have an outburst unknowingly, and before you know it,
exactly.
they send them, they go into loads of suspension in school,
Yeah,
and before you know it, they are sent to people referral unit. You and I
that's
know
it.
that that people referral unit is a pipeline to the prison.
Yeah,
Our people are going through this, and a lot of people do not know this. So I'm so glad that you are drawing so much awareness with your collaborative partners as well to a lot of these things, because I think it's a high time we begin to bridge this gap. And I love the way you identify this gap. You are not reinventing the wheel, you are
no,
looking at the gap and you are intelligently
definitely. Yeah,
creating all this gap. You are covering it for our people. And I do hope that a lot of people that are listening to this, you people don't know the battle that this lady is fighting for us. No, in the rooms where decisions are made, where we are not present, is as good as we not existing.
yeah.
But when you have people like her speaking up for us, telling her, because I used to have this gorgeous Afro food where we have African shop, and I remember during COVID, in my own little way, I was sending food parcels, and I remember I got a call from the councils before I closed the shop 4 years ago. No, three, yeah, 4 years ago, and I got a call from the council saying that, oh, they heard that I was sharing African food. That can they have a parcel for some families and all of that stuff. We got the address and went to deliver. I just did it after the shops were open. I just stopped it. I didn't realize
Oh,
how I didn't realize how deep the cut was. But I
it
just
is.
noticed that a lot of people, I was thinking, would they eat just baked beans? So I sent these parcels out and everything and got these phone calls dropped and all the stuff. I didn't take it as deep as you did.
It's
I
deep.
I
Even
didn't
to
know.
now, with the cost of living, we since summer we've been distributing African food. Last week I was like, okay, this week is the last session for the summer bonding session. So we'll be doing back to school support with cereal. And the women said, no, we don't want cereal because they already get those things.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, we've already shared noodles, we've shared pounded yam, plantain. They said, please, we just want noodles is enough for us.
Wow.
It is so deep where you see women crying. I've seen a mother of six before call me when I was in London to say, I don't have food.
Wow.
And I said, what do you have now? She said, one spaghetti. Okay, what will you use to cook it? Nothing. Six children, no recourse to benefit.
Hmm.
Thankfully, with the team that work with me, the trustees, staffs, and volunteers, they're very passionate. Why? Because many of them have lived experience, and because they have lived experience of what we are addressing, they're
Yeah.
very quick to respond to
Yes.
what we are doing. So um, at the end of the day, they don't say no. So when she made that request, I was in London at 6 to 7. I had to call one of them, and they went to Mostin shop to buy those things for the woman to eat.
Wow.
So imagine we're not there.
Hmm.
What do you think will happen?
Suicide ideation can start coming.
Yeah, because it does. It does. So it's about really looking at the needs in the community
Yeah.
and filling that gap. Otherwise, our community will continue to suffer.
In
That
silence.
was why, yeah, that was why when the community fridge was coming out during COVID, I didn't take it. I said because it's a means to silence us, silence our community from the cultural food. Because if you're saying the people are not accepting, then you're taking community fridge and what is there, the same food you said they were not accepting. What's going to happen to our community? So we have to start looking out for our people. Also, before I forget, I remember years ago, University of Manchester, they will always say we're hard to reach. Researchers will always say Africans are hard to reach. I had to tell them we are not hard to reach.
Hmm.
You don't just know how to access us.
That's right.
You know, An African woman who has never really gone to school, you want to send an email for her to be part of your research. How does that work?
Mm.
Nothing will work. So at the moment, I'm part of the BRAG at the University of Manchester, which is the Black Asian Research Advisory Group. So when researchers are coming to the community, they have to come through us to assess
Fantastic.
whatever it is they're doing, how they're going to reach out to our community. So I represent Africans, how they'll reach out, whether with language, the space they're going to reach out to them, the method at which they will reach out to them. All those things have to be in place before we allow them go to our community. So
Wow.
there's so many things that we're doing um, behind closed doors,
Mm.
making sure that our people do not suffer
Yeah.
because there's so many inequalities, in the UK that we're trying to address, health inequalities and all of that. So, yes, really,
Wow.
it's a holistic space where I tell women you can just come as you are.
Yes.
Nobody's going to judge you, regardless, even if the mistake was yours. We all make mistakes,
Mm.
and just because everybody sin,
That's
and
true.
just because you commit your sin is different doesn't make you less a sinner.
That's
In
right.
the sight of God, we are all sinners. So whether you just stole a loaf of bread or you committed adultery, sin is sin.
That's right.
That's the way we look at people to say, you know what, just come as you are, and we'll be there to hold you,
Hmm.
to support you, to make sure that you are not where you used to be.
Wow. Thank you so, so much, ma. I just feel like I could just sit down there just listening all day, but I do understand. I need to honor your time. I just have two questions. I know you've written a book in a strange land. Can you just give us a brief overview of this book? Because that book, I'm going to lay my hands on it. I'm coming to come to come and get one
It's
because
actually
it
on Amazon now. Um,
fantastic. Right. I'll put the link in this podcast for people to go and
okay.
grab it as well. Yeah.
So, In a Strange Land is a book I've always wanted to write for years
Hmm.
to share my experience. I was one person that never thought of relocating.
Mm,
Where people talk about traveling, I was never in that. No, not for me.
mm,
From childhood to when I became an adult, it wasn't a topic for me really, because I didn't see traveling and relocation as a thing.
mm.
I just wanted to make money in Lagos, make money in Nigeria and enjoy yourself. So
Yeah.
when people are talking about traveling, it wasn't something that they would call me into until the unexpected happened and I had to make a drastic, decision as to whether to stay and be scared or move and protect my family. So that was how I relocated after an armed robbery incident. I just took that decision to say, you know what, to hell with everything, to hell with money. Already, I was already doing a little business and all of that. But I moved, and you would think coming to the UK is a bed of roses.
Mm,
From the houses that first gives you that culture shock to, oh, is that the small house that you're going to live in? Just one toilet? Are you kidding? Then the depression comes in.
mm.
Because when you hear abroad what we watch in the movie, it's totally so different from when
Yes.
you actually arrive. So I remember the first house we got, and we're like, oh, Demi, we've got my son, we've got the house now. He was happy. And when we got there, and we said, okay, look at the house. He said, oh, where's my room? I said, this is your room. He said, no, I mean my room.
Hmm.
I said, this is your room. He said, so small. So it's just my personal journey
Yeah.
where I shared my life experiences
Mm.
from parts of how I lived in Nigeria to what brought me to the UK and the challenges that I had to go through.
Yes.
Like you said in the beginning, when people see me, they admire and they
Hmm.
just wish, oh, I wish to be like a but they don't
Mm.
know the pain that I
Yes.
had to go through,
Mm.
the torture,
Yes.
the trauma
Mm.
I had to go through, even with immigration.
Yeah.
Imagine somebody who was to get indefinite in 2009
Hmm.
or 2010, and you're getting your indefinite in 2017, 2018.
Wow.
That's how many years? And I never became, when people say they've always thought I was a British citizen
Because of your
because of
audacity to do
because of
things.
the audacity. Like somebody had said, a deputy lieutenant had told me, the audacity is something that needs to be studied.
Absolutely.
But she said, we never imagined that you were not a British citizen.
Wow.
They never. Honestly, they didn't even question it until when this MBE thing came and they realized, oh, so MBE should have come in 2022, 2023. It didn't. Because that was when they realized that this woman with this audacity is
Hmm.
not even a British citizen. you know? So I could have gotten maybe become a British citizen in 2011, maybe 2010. I can't remember
Yeah.
if I calculate. But I never became a British citizen till 2023.
Wow.
That's one of the things
Wow.
people don't know, which is in the book. But it's also, I shared because I wanted people to actually know that you can be in a strange land,
Hmm.
not without a British citizenship, and you can still do wonders.
That's right.
Your name can still be heard in high places.
Hmm.
Being a British citizen is good. Yes, you get MBA and maybe you don't have to apply for visa to travel. I think that's the difference.
That's
But
right.
from that, you can be a student. You can have a student visa. You can have a work visa. You can have any kind of visa and still be able to break barriers.
That's right.
And that was the point I wanted to prove, to say, you know what, this thing I've been deprived of. I'm going to break this barrier to let
Hmm.
people know that I may not be a British citizen, but I
Hmm.
will do more than what a British citizen can do.
That's right.
So every achievement I've had, aside from the MBE, I got it without being a citizen.
Hmm.
So all that is in the book, just to encourage people.
That's right.
I've seen women come to me. I remember one of our trustees years ago. One day she broke down. She was like, I'm not happy at all. I said, you've been saying this since last week. Why are you not happy? And she was like, oh, she needs, I think it was money to do her British, whatever. And I said, is that why you're not happy? And she said, yeah, you will not understand. I said, no, I cannot understand because I don't even have indefinite leave to remain.
Wow.
He was like, what did you just say? I said, I don't have indefinite. I'm not settled in the UK.
Wow.
He said, you're not settled and you have a charity and you're this, you're that. I said, yes, I'm still renewing visa like other people. That was when she stopped crying. And a lot of women have come to me like that. And I will tell them, this thing you're crying for, I'm just like you. So the book is to empower people.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people be empowered to say, you know what? I could never have imagined
Do you
that
know one
all
thing I'm
this
saying, Ma? Sorry to interrupt you, but I just need to ask this question. So I want to put context to this. What is that thing that is behind your growth mindset? Because that's what I see. What is behind it? What made it so? There must be something that has solidified that your growth mindset. What is it?
I think my growing up, I was regarded as a very dull child, never passed exam. Amongst my sisters, they're very brilliant, but I couldn't really do much. And I could see the fear in my parents, especially my dad. So I just had this mindset that, you know what? They say you cannot do this, you cannot become this. I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going
Wow.
to do this, I'm going to do that. So even when I was still failing or not passing exams, or nobody is a failure, I had that mindset. I have always been a very positive person.
Hmm.
My mom used to always tell me, if you're going to that place and going straight is not possible, you can go round. It might take longer, but as long as you get to that place,
Yes.
that's what matters. So even when I was failing jam, for those who lived in Nigeria,
Mm.
that voice kept coming to me. So when I was coming to the UK, my dad said something. He said, he said it casually, the milk and honey of that land. So how do you
Amen.
eat the milk and honey of the land if you don't belong,
Mm.
if you don't integrate, if you don't socialize?
Mm.
So I had told myself coming to the UK, I said, when I'm 10 years in the UK, I
Yes.
have to be doing something for myself. I've never been somebody who likes to work in an office. That's 9 to 5. I'm not that kind of person. I'll rather be selling, to make money. I've
Yeah.
always been that kind of person. So even when the challenges came, the pain, the trauma, the depression, it was ringing in my head. And when it's going to be 10 years, what would you say you have done? So I came in 2005. Before 10 years, I'd set up an organization in my pain. I,
Mm.
I have never believed in no. One of my friend, Windows Empowerment, she said for her, no is new opportunities.
That's right.
So when you say no to me, when you are saying it cannot happen, I want to dig deep. I'm a very determined person. So even when I started the charity and they were like, oh, Nigerians don't make it. I know of so person who did it. You know what I do? I don't quarrel. I move away from that group. Then I start to look for people who be.
Mm.
So at the moment, I would say I have more Asian friends or even Muslim friends than Christians. Why? I don't sit in a place where there is negativity.
Mm.
I don't. Because if Obama can be president of the United States of America, I'm not even fighting to become prime minister. It is that every other thing is achievable.
Yes.
So I think for me is God, because with God you can do all things.
That's right.
Having God as your backbone and being determined is what has made me to become who I am. And I think another thing is I believe that your children look at you and they emulate what you are.
Yeah.
I never wanted my children to be like ordinary kind of children who
Mm.
just follows the crowd.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be a role model for them, which I am. So I don't see my children doing the normal.
Mm.
So until people see my children, they're like, oh, is that your mom? No wonder. Why? Because, yeah. So you've been in a strange land, been in the UK. What does that mean? Discrimination, racism. Is there no racism in Nigeria?
There
Is there
is.
no discrimination in
There
Nigeria?
is.
Omo Igbo, Omo Yoruba, all those things. Are we not already going through it? So
That's right.
for me, racism is no big deal for me. It doesn't stop me from going anywhere. You know,
Wow.
I would say God, really, in all of it, God, and be you. If you have God, you will be determined.
That's right.
Yeah, I have God. I know that Wonderfully Made Woman is not a man-made organization.
No.
It is God that has given it to me. It is a ministry. That's why we have the Christian arm of it, Beauty in Brokenness program.
Wow.
So when God hands over something to you, you don't fear. Why? Because it's his project. So sometimes, even when we don't have funding, I'm not too worried. I'm like, God, okay, it's end of the year. By January, the project has to go on. So you have to sort it out.
Yeah.
So because God is my source, I know that everything is possible,
That's right.
regardless of the challenges that you go through. Yes, there are frustrations. There are times you want to give up. Even Jesus that came to die at one point almost gave up.
That's true.
So, in all of that, you just remember anytime I want to give up, I remember why I started. And once I remember the reason I started, it kind of just gives me that energy to say,
Yeah.
okay, you can't stop now. How many women will die because of you? How many women
Yeah.
will be depressed because of you?
Yeah.
So that helps me a lot.
Wow.
And I
Thank
would
you
say the
so
team
much.
that I work with are wonderful. The team that I work with, I can go to bed, close my eyes, and things will still be going on.
So what I see there, you do not just Miles Myron said if anything happen and the organization go down, I'm just paraphrasing, it means
Yeah.
you've not built good leaders.
at all.
So what you've
So
done there, you've built good systems.
yes, I would say, I will humbly say I'm a good leader.
Yes.
I am not the type to, if really I'm not around and the organization has to close or the office has to close because I'm not around, it means I've not done anything. It means
Hmm.
I've not affected the women I'm supporting.
Hmm.
I can actually, I think for almost 2 years, I never went to the radio show until last month. And it was going on. Last week, I had to go to London and people step in. For everything that I do, people always step in because they don't just come build confidence and go. I build leaders.
And you give them a
I
platform
create
to try
leaders
it
and I
out.
give them that platform to say, you can go, you can do it. Even the ones that say, I don't want to talk on radio, they're all speaking now. So for you to be a good leader, you should be able to produce leaders.
Hmm.
And that's what Wonderfully Made Woman is. We have produced leaders. If you look at one of the thriving organizations in Scotland
Yeah.
that always use Economic Forum for Family Empowerment,
Yeah.
she was a volunteer, asylum
Wow.
seeker at
Wow.
Wonderfully Made Woman,
Wow.
got her visa, relocated, set up. If you look at that organization, they had to tell her, we want to know who your mentor is.
Hmm.
Then they check our services and they say, oh, we know who trained you. We build leaders. So not just living abuse, we try to make sure that you become a leader yourself.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, for sharing from your wealth of wisdom. Before I came on this, I was praying. I said, God, how do you want me to ask her question? There are so many things, so many questions I want to ask her. But in a way, you touched on all the areas that I wanted to touch on.
Oh,
I just want to pray this on you. Joshua 21, 43 to 45. It says, so the Lord gave all the land he has sworn to give our ancestors. And she took possession of it and settled there. The Lord gave her no rest on every
amen.
side, just
Amen.
as he has sworn to our ancestors. Not one of our enemies was able to withstand her. The
Amen.
Lord gave Anon all of our enemies into her hands. Not one of the Lord's good promises to Anon failed. Every single one was fulfilled. May this word speak in your life and in your generation to come. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you
Thank you
so, so
so much.
much.
So
Thank
I
you.
hope I'll get to watch the podcast.
Yes, the podcast. I will send
Yeah,
it
if
to
you
you.
send me the link. All right.
Yeah, I will send you the link. And for those people that are interested in joining these wonderfully made women, if you are in the
Yeah,
Northwest,
definitely.
I'm going to add all the contacts on the link in the podcast.
All
Thank you
right.
so, so much. Thank you for
Thank
following
you.
your vision that was given to you 33 years ago. Thank you for turning your purpose, your passion, your pain into purpose. Thank you for being a great force to reckon with. Thank you for shining the light, speaking for the African people. Thank you for saving women that could have gone down beyond years ago. Thank you for continuing to save. Thank you for building leaders. Thank you for telling us that it doesn't matter, your status doesn't matter. If God has planted your feet there, you will take possession of it and it will open doors for you. Thank you for turning every no into new opportunities. Thank you. Thank you so, so much. Thank you. I just pray good health for you, man. Thank you so much. God
Amen.
bless you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
I have just one
Thank
more
you.
question though. In all
Okay.
that you do, I know you're very busy. I always ask people. I'm very good on big on self-care.
Okay.
How do you rest? How do you rest?
People always ask that. A friend has asked me that on Friday. You arrested. I said, do you know you work more than me? She was like, I said, oh, then we analyzed it and she realized that she is working more than me. So
Wow.
in everything that I do, I have boundaries.
Right.
I have boundaries. I love what I'm doing. I love my job. I love the women. But I
Yes.
also create boundaries. So when it's family time for me, I will hardly pick anybody's call,
Right.
except it's my children or
Yeah.
my spouse. So I have time for work. I have time to rest.
Mm.
And even with family time, I also have my me time. When it's me time, I don't think of my children. I don't think of my spouse. I think of me.
Wow.
So if I say tomorrow I don't want to get up from bed till 4 o'clock, and that's it for me. Everybody knows. So you cannot pour from an empty cup.
Absolutely.
We did that years ago. And for me, I always love to equip myself. So I've been trained. When I started, this is going to be overwhelming. You want to save the whole world. You cannot save the whole world. And I realized that, okay, you can't save the whole world, actually. So I know when to stop. If I close from work and I'm leaving this office to the car, trust me, I don't think of anything work. All I'll be thinking is, okay, what is at home? What do I need to buy? What will I be telling my daughter today? That's what is in my head. And people who actually, because I'm a very private person, the few people who have come close to me, they're shocked, like, okay, you have like a normal life. You jump on your daughter's bed, you do the normal thing, you do popcorn, you do crazy things. So I have boundaries. As a legal person, you've been trained to, know when to stop.
Yes.
So for me, yes, I'm busy. I can be very busy, but there are times that, I just shut off and say, like summer now, there are so many things I would naturally do when it's not summer holiday that I'm not doing.
Yes.
I showed my sister and my daughter my calendar for this month. They were like, Mommy, this is the first time your calendar is so empty. Yes, because I don't want to work that much because September is going to be busy. So self-care is very important. And like the partnership I told you about Mama Health, we take self-care very, very extremely important. So when it's
Fantastic.
time to work, we work. When it's time to rest, I rest. When it's time for family, I don't want to know what's happening to somebody else. When
Yeah.
it's time for me to rest, I don't think my children will even want to disturb me or my spouse. There are times I stay up 3, 4, 5 days. I don't even go into the kitchen. They bring the food to me. I eat. I go back to bed, go to the sitting room. I can actually stay for a week and not enter the kitchen.
Wow.
If I'm doing self-care. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's why I said a lot of people are even busier than myself. I can really lazy about for a week in my home, in my bedroom, take my bath, sit in the room, watch movie, do this thing, and I will say today, tomorrow, I'm not going to the kitchen, and I will not go.
Wow.
Because
Thank you.
you need to be whole, you need to be
Yes.
strong, you need to be healthy, to be sane, to be mentally okay, to be able to support women. Because the job we do is more than what, I'm sorry to say, a lot of pastors do, because you are there. A pastor can pray for you and say, oh, bless you, God will do it. We can't say God will bless you. You have to provide solution. So yes, I do take care of myself. I rest a lot. Like last week after Wednesday, I just told the volunteers I'm traveling tomorrow. And I went to London, stayed with my son. From there, he took me to the hotel, took me I just shut up everything that has to do with work.
Wow.
Said I'm not checking my emails, I'm not checking laptop. Whatever it is, I will deal with it when I come on Monday. And that was it for me. So yes, I do
Fantastic.
rest. I rest a lot.
I am
Initially, it
glad.
wasn't like that, but I do now.
I am so glad. I am so glad because I know that givers sometimes they don't look after themselves very well.
Yeah,
I am
yeah.
so glad you take a very holistic approach,
Mm-hmm.
not only to work, but also to your own personal life.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Yes, thank you. Right. For those that have been listening, you have been listening to Abiosonia having an interview with Eino Otaigbe Amedu, MBE. If you want to know this lady, I'm going to drop her contact. I'm going to drop everything. If you want to get involved in it, if you want to support the vision in one way or the other, you have been listening to Authentic Traveling Podcast. We have kept it very, very authentic like we always do. Until I come your way again, take care and keep driving. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you.